Hi, it's David O. In Karmiel. This week has been quite a week, Parsha YITRO, 10 Commandments. I had the privilege, my wife and I, of traveling with Ezra Ridgely of the Jewish Heritage Project down to Shiloh. It was an amazing experience. Shiloh is where the Aron Kodesh and the Mishkan first really rested in the land of Israel. And it rested there for 369 years. And the tribes used to come, and there were hills all around where the Mishkan was, like in a bowl, in the bottom of a bowl. And in each of the peaks, the tribes would camp for the 3 holidays, Pesach, Shavuot, and Sukkot, the pilgrimage holidays. And it's still there. And being in Shiloh gives one the sense of living in the Psalms of David, of Hallel, when he describes the hills and the jumping like sheep and rams. It's absolutely, it makes the hair stand up in the back of your neck. And they know exactly where the Mishkan rested in Shiloh. And although the Mishkan was not made of stone, when it rested in Shiloh, they built stone walls around the Mishkan because it was there for so long. And there's much about it, the story of Eli and his sons and the Plishtim and everything. But it is a piece of Jewish history recorded in Tanakh. And there it is. It's an archaeological site. They're doing great work on it. I recommend anybody who has an opportunity visiting Israel to go to Shiloh and see the first home of the Mishkan, of the Holy of Holies in the land of Israel. Which brings me to my thoughts about this week's Parsha, YITRO. YITRO, there's so much in YITRO, and I'm only going to touch on one thing because it connects to Shiloh, really, is that in this week's Parsha, we receive the 10 Commandments. We receive the Torah at Har Sinai, and all that is part of it. And of course, this is one of the peak moments of the Pesach story, of the Exodus from Egypt. And we drink at Pesach 4 cups of wine. Right? What do the 4 cups mean? Each cup has its own, you could drink more than 4, but each of these 4 has its own kiddush and its own meaning. And what we understand about it is that the 4 cups represent the 4 stages of liberation. I will take you out, which means the plagues on Egypt that forced the freedom of the Jews. I will save you, which is I'm bringing you to Ramses. You're on your way out. Right? I will redeem you, says God. And in so doing, he splits the sea, and he lets the Jews know that they will never be bothered by Egypt again, that the elite of Egypt have been destroyed behind them, right? And they're on their way. Right? And I will take you as and I will take you as a nation. That's a reference to Har Sinai. At Har Sinai, all of the Yidden, all of the people who left, and they weren't all Jews who left. They weren't all children of Yaakov who left. There was the Erev Rav as well, the mixed multitude that came along that decided that the God of Israel was more powerful than the God of Egypt. We're changing sides and going with the winning team. That group, which could be as much as 50 or 60% of the people in the desert, also accepted God at that point and converted as well. There's a lot of debate about this. I don't want to get into it. But clearly that is when God took Israel as a nation, right? That was the 4th cup of wine. And yet, there is a 5th cup of wine, often misunderstood. Right? We call it the cup of Eliyahu, as if we're putting out a cup of wine for Eliyahu to drink. You know, there's a tradition among Christians to put out milk and cookies for Santa Claus. So we put out a glass of wine for Eliyahu. Absolutely not. The cup of Eliyahu is not for Eliyahu to drink. It is the 5th cup of wine. Now, as you'll notice, the plagues, leaving for Ramses, the sea splitting, and Har Sinai all happened in very rapid repetition. But the 5th cup is, I will bring you to the land. I will bring you to the land. And that took 40 years. So there's a great time spread between the 4th cup and the 5th cup. And there was great debate among the sages as to whether there should be a 5th cup, or maybe there shouldn't be a 5th cup. And remember, much of our traditions were written not in Jerusalem, but actually, sadly, in exile, one of many exiles. And so the rabbis said, 4 cups is enough. The 5th cup, we don't really have it permanently. So we're not drinking the 5th cup. We're not having the 5th cup. Others said, no, we'll have the 5th cup. They debated it back and forth. They agreed to have the 5th cup, but not to drink it. And when the time is right, Eliyahu will come, and as he answers all other questions in the Gemara that are unanswerable, he will answer the question, should we drink the 5th cup or not? That's why it's called the cup of Eliyahu. For his judgment, he comes as a herald of Messianic times, and it's pretty well guaranteed that when he comes, he will say, drink the 5th cup, because now we're in the middle of Messianic times. Why did I get off into this vintage story of wines? It's because of Shiloh. Right? That 5th cup of wine, right? That thought of when will we get the land? Shiloh tells us that this is our place. Shiloh tells us that bring the Mishkan, put it here, make stone walls around it. It's okay, because it's never leaving the land again. It will be here, right? Okay, the push team took it. There was a lot of issues about it, but they brought it back. Eventually, the Holy of Holies moved to the temple that David would create, Solomon would build, and we know where it should be right now. But my point is that we have already a place of the Holy of Holies. If you come to Israel, do visit Shiloh. It's more than worth it. It's a great experience, and it is a piece of our history. You know, we are very concerned about what is our spiritual condition when we go to the Temple Mount, right? Understand that Shiloh is a very, very holy place, and it is there for Jews to go and see now. So I thank Ezra Ridgely for taking my wife and I there for his newest film, The Rebirth of a Nation, being produced by the Jewish Heritage Project. God willing, I'll have some involvement with it. And I want to wish you all a very, very holy Shabbos. The Shabbos of the Ten Commandments, the Shabbos of YITRO. Shabbat Shalom, good Shabbos from Karmiel. And by the way, if you're looking at the fruit behind me, it is not grapefruit. This is what a lemon looks like as it matures in the land of Israel, larger than an orange. We should all have plenty from Hashem. Be well.